Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. Today, we're going to be talking about Mars retrograde in Gemini, 2022 to 2023. This is a really powerful energy that we're going to be working with. And the better we can understand this energy, the more growth and the more transformation we are going to gain throughout this transit. Mars officially went retrograde in the sign of Gemini on October 30th and will station direct on January 11th, 111, which, as we know, is a powerful date with all of those ones. It's really interesting because many of us, when we see the number 111, it's a reminder for us to look at our thoughts, to look at our words, to look at what it is that we're manifesting into our reality. And that energy is absolutely perfect for this Mars retrograde in Gemini, because that's exactly what we're doing with this energy. Mars in the sign of Gemini is a very mercurial energy, as Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. So it's really interesting how we had the Mercury retrograde that completed, and then not long after, we're jumping right into the Mars retrograde in Gemini. And then Mercury is going to go retrograde in December and carry us through the end of this Mars retrograde. So a lot of mercurial energy. We're working a lot with the energies of the mind. When we talk about Mars in general, we're talking about our masculine energy and all the ways that that energy is expressed, right? So we're talking about our willpower. We're talking about our ability to act decisively. We're talking about how it is that we go after the things that we want. We are also, yes, talking about our sexuality to an extent and our primal drives and urges, among other things. So we have this planet that really has a lot to do with our stamina. It has a lot to do with our ability to actualize ourselves in the world. And when we place this planet in a sign ruled by the mind and the energies of the mind, we're really going to be learning, I think, with this transit, how much our mental state affects not only our physical body and our physical health, but also the choices that we make, the actions that we take, and the results that we get in our manifested reality. So that connection between the mind and our reality is really going to come into hyper-focus. And we're going to be, remember, retrograde is a period of revision. It's a period where we look back, where we re-examine things and see them from a new perspective. So we're getting a massive opportunity here to have a new perspective on our motivations, on our intentions, on our desires, and the way it is that we go after those desires, and how our mental processes affect our ability to actualize our desires and bring them into physical manifested form. So that mind energy is so important. When Mars begins this retrograde, he is going to be stationed in a square to both Jupiter and Neptune. And Jupiter and Neptune are about 8 degrees apart. I want to say 7 or 8 degrees apart, something like that. So they're not necessarily what we would consider conjunct. But Mars is positioned at 25 degrees, right in the middle of these energies. And so he's getting the impact of a square to each of these planets. And this really highlights the energies of faith and the energies of spirituality. So our faith really coming into question here in the form of how it is that influences our beliefs. Right? Jupiter is very much about the energy of beliefs. And our beliefs are what influence our actions and what it is that we see in our manifested reality. So those belief systems, once again, coming into hyperfocus, and we've been working with these belief systems in earnest since 2021, when we had that axis of Sagittarius and Gemini activated with the eclipses and with the North and South nodes present in these signs, North node in Gemini, South node in Sagittarius. That's when these belief systems came into hyperfocus, and we're still working with them. We're still fine-tuning them. This Mars retrograde is giving us another opportunity to do so by really showing us where the rubber meets the road when it comes to the way that these perspectives and belief systems influence our manifested reality, as we said. So really playing with that energy, seeing the impact of that in our lives, and playing with, I'm feeling, the ways that we can start shifting our perspective and shifting those belief systems and working on those programmed loops of the mind, right? We call it the monkey mind, when the mind's just going around and around in circles like it's on a hamster wheel. All these habitual and recurring thoughts that we have, and the ways that these translate into action. If we really focus on shifting those thought patterns, it'll be really fun and interesting to see how it is that we can notice the changes as a result of that happening in our physical world. Mars wants to show us what it is that we have created thus far as a result of our mental programming and belief structures, and how it is that we can create something different. So as we said, Mars stations retrograde at 25 degrees of Gemini, and he completes his retrograde at 8 degrees of Gemini. And during the, yeah, that's how I want to say it, I guess. During the completion of this retrograde, when he stations direct, he's going to be in a trine to Venus and Aquarius. So in a trine to the planet that represents our feminine energy, really bringing that masculine and feminine energy into balance, into conversation. We have both of these planets in air signs, right? With Venus in Aquarius and Mars in Gemini. So there's a lot of conversation here. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of stimulation. Once again, that mental body being very, very stimulated as we close this out here. And we really are able to, I think this is going to give us an opportunity to really harmonize our desires and come to a place of understanding of those desires, because Venus is also a planet that represents desire. So we have these two planets that represent the desire, and the two different ways that we go about experiencing and expressing that desire, right? The masculine and the feminine, the active and the receptive, the dreaming, right, with the feminine energy, and the being and the doing with the masculine. So this is a really beautiful way to conclude this energy, I think. As I said, really profound that it's happening on 1/11. And then we do also have the post-shadow period of Mars, and this is where he goes from 8 degrees of Gemini back to 25 degrees of Gemini again. Mars will reach 25 degrees of Gemini once more on March 16th. And this is a really interesting date, because when he reaches 25 degrees of Gemini again and completes that post-shadow period, he is going to be squaring a conjunction between Mercury, the Sun, and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. And this conjunction is huge. This is where we're really getting a mega dose of this spiritual energy and perspective within our mental body. And we're really accessing that higher mental body and bringing it into our lower consciousness, our lower human mind, right? Because Mercury represents the human mind. We have Mercury, and then we have the higher octave of Mercury, which is Uranus, which represents that more expansive mind. But when we have Neptune together with Mercury in the sign of Pisces, this has a bit of that Uranian energy as far as the activation of the spiritual and the higher mind goes, and really merging that with the consciousness, right? The Sun and Mercury together really representing our ego consciousness, our human consciousness, and Neptune pushing that higher, giving us that higher perspective. So once again, as we see, it's all coming back to these energies, and Mars here squaring these energies is really in this point in time asking us, how can we take action on not only everything we learned during the Mars retrograde, but on the even deeper and higher perspective that this triple conjunction is going to be bringing through for us. So major energy point there. Another big energy point that I wanted to bring up before we get into the cards here is December 7th. On December 7th, we have the full moon in Gemini, and this is going to be conjunct Mars retrograde. So this is giving that Mars retrograde energy a big boost, and it's really amplifying that mental energy and that mental focus, and really opening up our mind to whatever insights want to come through. This, I have not really dug into the energies of that full moon yet. We're going to get more into that as we get closer to that date. But I know and I can feel that this energy is going to be really big, and it's going to be an integration point and sort of a check-in point, a climactic point, if you will, in our experience of this Mars retrograde. We are going to be I don't know if we want to estimate, like, I'm not a numbers person, as you guys know, something like 2/3 of the way through the Mars retrograde when we get to this full moon. So it's going to be a big check-in point, and it's going to be a big integration point. This entire Mars retrograde feels like a huge integration. Remember, when planets are direct, we're gathering, we're experiencing. And when planets go retrograde, we're integrating. So there's a big integration. And as Mars is one of the planets that represents the physical body, there's a big physical piece to this integration as we're looking at all the activations, all the upgrades that we've received, and the way that we are integrating those both on a physical level and a mental level. That's going to be huge during this retrograde. Another thing is going to be big during this retrograde, and I'm wondering if it's going to come back, because as I often do, as I was talking about that, I kind of lost the other piece that I wanted to mention here. Oh yeah, it just has to do with the fact that this retrograde is in the sign of Gemini. And I was watching Molly McCord's channel. She mentioned that this Mars retrograde is going to feel like a massive Mercury retrograde. And I absolutely concur with that. I resonated with that 100%, especially where we just had a Mercury retrograde before, and we're going to have one during this Mars retrograde, as we mentioned at the beginning of the video. That energy coming through so strong. So I'm sorry to tell you guys, you thought it was over, but essentially the entire end of 2022 is like one big Mercury retrograde as far as what we're experiencing and how we're experiencing these energies. But the positive aspect of that is that it gives us a lot of time to rework, to rethink, to reinvent. Right? These are the energies of any retrograde planet. And it really is going to give us a great way to look back on everything we've learned throughout 2022 and see where it is that we have been missing action in places where action is warranted, and really know and understand where to channel all of this Mars energy when Mars does turn direct once more. Mars in Gemini is a very energetic energy. An energetic energy. It is though, right? There's a lot to it. Gemini has a lot of energy to it. It has a lot of movement, right? We're talking about mutable air here. Another aspect of Mercury energy is that changeability. So we're being asked to be mutable. We're being asked to be changeable, and to allow especially our perspectives and our beliefs to be mutable and changeable. To understand that nothing is set in stone, and to really, when our belief systems are challenged, to look at that as an opportunity to review them. And I am feeling, as I'm saying this, that we are going to have these instances and situations where our belief systems are challenged, especially the ones that warrant a deeper look, and the ones that are playing a chief role in creating our reality, whether it is that we are aware of this or not. So pay attention to what beliefs of yours are being challenged. I think when we begin this process and we start becoming more spiritually aware, we drop so many of the collective beliefs and societal beliefs, and we gain all these new beliefs, and we start to feel really open-minded and really enlightened, right? Really woke, if you will, as a result of that. But these new belief systems that we take on, we don't sometimes realize become as dogmatic, and we become as attached to as the old ones that we let go of. And that's the place that we want to stay out of. We want to always be growing. We want to always be questioning what we believe to be truth. Because remember, truth is just as mutable as Gemini energy. And I think this Mars retrograde season is going to be teaching us that. So to start out with the cards today, I want to pull from the Golden Nouveau, the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. This is one of my newer decks that I got that I really am enjoying. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to start with some traditional tarot, and we're going to go from there and see where else Spirit wants to take us today. Clear. All right, let's get some energy on this Mars retrograde in Gemini. What's going on? Give me a storyline. Give me something to work with here. Some guidance. Yeah, all right, we're going to be pulling from the Black Moon Astrology after this. Yeah, there's wisdom for us in there as well, I'm feeling. All right, here we go. 8 of Wands. This is movement. This is things happening. This is communication. This can also be travel. And I am feeling that travel vibe for some people. With this Eight of Wands card, there may be somewhere that you are traveling during Mars retrograde. Or there's the urge to travel. It's like the travel bug. It's a restless kind of a feeling and a restless energy that I think a lot of people are going to be having, where you're feeling drawn or called to be somewhere, to be somewhere other than where you are. And so for those who are experiencing that, if you are, and I feel like some of us are going to be unable to actually go anywhere, but we're going to feel this longing, this yearning. And so this retrograde wants us to examine that, and it wants us to try to understand, where is that coming from? Why is it? Is it that somewhere else is truly calling me on a soul level? Or is it that I would rather be anywhere else than here? And the old adage is coming to mind right now: wherever you run, you take yourself with you. So some people, you may run from someone or something during Mars retrograde and find in the process that you can't outrun what it was that you were running from, because it wasn't the situation. It was actually yourself. So that's really interesting. And then Spirit wants us to dig into, then the question becomes, right? Why am I running from myself? What within me is so unsettling to me that it makes me want to run? This is also where some people, I think, who have perhaps been running for a really long time, have sort of like a come to Jesus moment, so to speak. Where it's like people who travel a lot, who don't stay in one place for a long period of time, who get too antsy when they're sitting still. This Mars retrograde is going to ask us to sit still. Even if our feet are moving, there's going to be, it's like whatever it is that we have been perhaps successfully outrunning by keeping going, it's not going to work anymore. And we're going to have no choice but to face and look at whatever it is that we've been running and hiding from. So that's one message with the Eight of Wands. Let's see what else comes out here. Also, the communication piece. Spirit is highlighting the communication piece. Magician, we'll talk about that in a second. And so this is really understanding. There's going to be conversations that happen during Mars retrograde in Gemini that help us to understand ourselves and our intentions and motivations better. That help us to understand our own mental processes more. So be open to the conversations, be open to the insights that are shared with you, be open to the ways that Spirit is speaking and communicating to you through people and situations, in order to show you, give you a deeper glimpse into your own psyche and the things that you need to understand within yourself about the way that your own mind operates and the way that your subconscious and I'm feeling trauma for some, affects your choices and actions. This is where many of us too are going to realize and understand where so many of our actions are actually based out of fear, where perhaps we believed they were based out of faith. And that's where that square to the Neptune and Jupiter at the beginning of this retrograde really comes into focus. So with this Magician here, we are also looking, as we talked about, at the ways that our minds, our words, and our thought patterns create our reality. And we're really having an opportunity to create some powerful things by shifting the way that our mental energy operates to something that's more beneficial for us. And I do feel like there are connections that can come in for some people during this retrograde. So be open to who is coming into your reality and why. There's a deeper why to a lot of this. There are the people that we're interacting with, the people that we're communicating with, the people that we're connecting with and networking with. There's an orchestration to it. There's a deeper purpose and meaning to it. So pay attention to that. And some of these people are here to help you learn how to craft your reality. How to be the magician. Manifestations coming in for some people. Yeah. Yeah, we have strength here. This is one of my favorite descriptions of the Strength card, is the analogy that this lion is the beast or the demon within. It is the mind energy. That is one of the interpretations of this card, and she is taming the mind, becoming the master of our minds. So I think it's perfect that that energy is coming out here. There's an energy where we are learning how to tame the lion, how to tame the beast. And there are people during this Mars retrograde, I almost said Mercury retrograde, see, who are really learning and finding access to a much deeper level of strength than you realize that you had before. And the thing that Spirit wants us to know and understand about this is that it's not that you're now stronger than you were before. You were strong all along, you just didn't see it. And now during this Mars retrograde, you're going to see it. And your strength. See this beautiful feminine energy on this card? It doesn't come from brute force. It doesn't come from will, right? And these are things that Mars energy can often represent. So this is really interesting message coming through. And this is something that trine to Venus at the end of the retrograde is going to reinforce here. It's not through brute force. It's through gentleness. Right? She is not taming that lion in the way of commanding it by breaking it down. Right? She is soothing that lion. So Spirit wants us to remember, as we have these mental processes revealed to us, as we're working with this energy of mastering our minds, we don't want to come from a place of brute force. We want to be gentle with ourselves. We want to be gentle and loving with ourselves, gentle and loving with our own minds and our own egos. Remember, it's not about breaking the ego or demolishing the ego. That'll never work anyway, not as long as we're human, and especially not if we go about it like that. It's about making the ego our friend, befriending the lion. If the lion represents the ego. The ego is necessary to function in this dimension, in this reality, in this world. We would quite literally be adrift without it. We would be like the uber Piscean energy, uber Neptunian energy, with no boundaries, with no sense of self. And I'm not saying this is what Pisces energy is like. I'm saying this is the extreme of Pisces energy, when it's not balanced, when it's not checked. So we really, it's about learning how to befriend the ego, how to befriend the mind. And how to achieve, it's like that phrase, like you catch more flies with honey. And it's understanding as well how to manifest, not through brute force and willpower, right? But through setting those powerful intentions, taking the necessary actions, but also that feminine quality of releasing the details to Spirit and being receptive. If we are not receptive, we cannot receive. Right? By definition. And so if we are completely in our masculine energy, in a distortion of our masculine energy, we're not able to be receptive. We're just forcing our way through. When we could, it's like, you know what it's making me think of? This is an interesting analogy. For those of my Harry Potter fans out there, I am a huge Harry Potter fan. I've read each of those books at least 4 or 5 times, I think. I can't wait till my son gets old enough that I can read them to him and he will understand them. But I'm thinking of platform 9 3/4 and getting onto that platform, right? The way that they get onto that platform, when they run headfirst at that wall, with all of that brute force, they slam into a brick wall. But when they release, when they relax, when they let go, when they trust, and they run, all of a sudden the wall dissolves and they're on the platform. That's what this, that's exactly what this understanding, what this difference is. We have the Emperor coming out. So this is that strong energy. This is that energy of sovereignty, right? This is the ultimate masculine energy right here. This is the embodiment. The Emperor is the embodiment and the complete integration of all the kings in the tarot deck. All right, this is when we are standing in our full masculine power. We are cool, we are confident, we are strategic. We don't have to force anything. We know, we have that confidence to know that things will go our way. We are a warrior, but we're a wizened warrior. You see how he's got he's got the suit of armor underneath his robes here. He has that strength, but he doesn't have to display it. Calm, cool, and collected. This is the energy. This is that energy. These three cards together right here are absolute mastery, right? Magician, Strength, Emperor. The only thing that could make this more powerful in terms of mastery would be if the Hierophant were out here with it. And maybe the Empress, because then we would have counterparts. But this Strength card, I thought of the Empress when I first pulled it. Yeah, there is a level of mastery of your mental body, of your faculties. There's like a Saturnian energy here, right? The Emperor represents Aries energy. Strength represents Leo, for those who like to read into the signs here. Although traditionally, but to me, the Emperor speaks much more of Capricornian energy than Aries energy. He feels very Capricornian to me. So there's been a journey here that for some is reaching a pinnacle of energy. There is a level of mastery achieved over the ways that we work with, express, and experience our masculine energy. Remember, masculine energy also relates with the mind, because the mind, the mental, the logical processes are masculine, whereas the intuitive, emotional processes are feminine. Wheel of Fortune. All right, yeah, this is a powerful, we haven't completed a full cycle here, but we're at a huge turning point in the cycle where we've gained something valuable, and now the wheel is ready to turn. The next phase of this journey is ready to begin. And it couldn't begin until we got here. So whatever you experience during this Mars retrograde, just know that it's preparing you for this. It's because you've been working to become this for a very long time. And it feels like something very fortuitous. We have the Chariot on the bottom of the deck. Ooh, and then we got the Death card. All right. Transformation. Scorpionic energy right there. We just had that powerful new moon eclipse in Scorpio. As I'm recording this, we're about to have that full moon eclipse in Taurus, equally powerful. If you guys didn't see the video, I did the Scorpio season video. We talked about the eclipses in that video as well. Powerful, powerful stuff. So there's a huge transformation here. There is quite literally something that is dying so that something else can be born. You have to be willing to let it go. For most, this is going to be an aspect of the old self. We have the Four of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. Something you've been holding on to for a really long time. A perspective, a mode, a way of being. A belief system or structure. An idea of yourself. This is when the ego, one of the ways that the ego becomes a problem, and we have to learn how to shift the energy of the way that we experience and work with it. Is when we have this vision of ourselves that we get so stuck and entrenched in that it prevents us from being able to move forward. This is an idea, for many people, this is an idea about who you are and what you're capable of, that you've held for a very long time. For many people, this was instilled in childhood. You could even be carrying this on from past lives, from ancestry. Right? The world teaches us in many ways that we are incapable. That we are less than. There's been an attachment here to that belief structure. That you can't be it, that you can't do it, that you can't have it. But it's like finally beginning to understand that that's only true if you believe it. If you believe that, that's 100% true. But when you shift that belief, anything becomes possible. All right, what were we going to do? Black Moon Astrology. We're going to pull some Black Moon Astrology cards here. There we go. We had the Chiron healing card fall out there. Clear. Chiron still in the sign of Aries, which Mars rules. Yeah, Aries. Anybody in the mutable signs, as well as anyone whose planet or whose sign is ruled by Mars. So that would be Aries and also Scorpio, who has dual rulership, Pluto and Mars, are going to really be feeling this retrograde the most intensely. Tell us about this Mars retrograde in Gemini. Aquarius energy coming out. I know. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have Sagittarius, I see. I know and I see. And this is exactly what we're talking about here. This is profound. I know, I see. I know this is your belief. This is your perspective. And that creates and influences what you see. So we're really going to get a deep, deep understanding of this. And we're going to loosen the purse strings a little bit around what it is that I know. We're going to see in our world the reflection of what it is that we know. And we're being given the opportunity to shift that. This is also, I'm feeling, remember we talked about Mars retrograde assisting us in integrating our gifts, our abilities, all of the activations and the different things that we've received. And we've received a lot through the second half of 2022, throughout all of 2022, but really in the second half. All right. So this is, again, the knowing and the seeing. This is claircognizance and clairvoyance. This is people's psychic gifts really activating during this Mars retrograde. Air and fire right there as well, right? Ah, yes. And then we have Gemini energy coming out, I think. So we have I know, I see, I think. The way that these energies intertwine. And then South Node, life's debts. And isn't this interesting? We were talking earlier about how we've been going through this journey with our belief systems since 2021, when we had the South Node in Sagittarius and the North Node in Gemini. So it's interesting that we have that action here. This is the energy of letting go of what we know. And this is also, I feel, telling us to look deeper when it comes to some of these belief systems, when it comes to some of these mental patterns and this mental conditioning. Because it goes deeper and it goes back further than you think. Yeah. This is deeply entrenched. On an ancestral level, on a DNA level. This is like, this is where we have like a collective energy here of the old ways of thinking, which of course the old ways of thinking create the old ways of doing and being. Really unraveling, where we're beginning to see the kinks in the old ways of viewing things, and the old perspectives and belief systems, the old schools of thought, if you will. This Aquarius energy, this was the first card out, right? This is the energy ruled by Saturn and Uranus. This is the energy of the maverick, the game changer. This is the age that we're moving into, right? That this is the energy that asks us to do something differently. To be the black sheep, the rainbow sheep, and be that proudly. To come up with a new way of doing something. That's what this Mars, that's what every Mars retrograde wants us to do, is come up with a more improved way of doing whatever it is that we're setting out to accomplish, of accomplishing that. All right, any more energy here? There's some energy for someone too that's specific to the Gemini energy. Either you're a Gemini, you're involved with a Gemini. I'm really noticing the twins up here. You see them reflected in the moon. So maybe if there's somebody who believes, who works with the energy or the concept of twin flames and believes that their twin flame is a Gemini, there's something specific here for you. It might be this message in general is just especially resonant for you. And like I said, Geminis with Mars in your sign are going to be feeling this retrograde very acutely. But it's like bringing up something from the past for you, this retrograde is. And I mean, I know that sounds kind of ridiculous and redundant, like that's what retrogrades do. But something from your deep, deep buried past, I almost want to say. Memories, experiences, especially this life's debts keep standing out to me. So it's like guilt, maybe. Ways that you feel indebted to somebody or something else. This heavy, it's like heavy energy. And the reasons that you feel indebted. Or like past traumas, traumatic past experiences that created some of these belief systems, these really deep, really rooted belief systems that you're getting ready to shed. Yeah. And if you are a Gemini or you are connected to a Gemini. They could be returning to your life around this time. Like I said, some of you may identify with this person as a twin flame or have at one time thought or felt that they were a twin flame. But it feels like there's karmic energy here that needs to be completed or cleared in order for you to move on in whatever way it is that you need to move on. Apart or together. All right. Now we have Pluto coming out with the 9th house, transformation and faith, card 11 and card 33 for my numbers people. I'm feeling like somebody during this Mars retrograde is going to be receiving communication from a loved one or communication from someone who's passed on as far as like transitioned out of this reality. I'm looking at the Ouija board on this card here. And the face, if you see it in this card above the Pluto symbol. Right, which we know is a god, but in this it's feeling more spirit. And I never advise using Ouija boards. There's a lot of funky energy that Ouija boards pick up on. I would not recommend utilizing that as a means of communication with the spiritual realm. Really, ever. Even if you're setting clear intentions of who you want to communicate with and you're clearing the energy of it and setting a sacred space, I wouldn't do it. There's a lot of just a lot of dark energy that often gets channeled through Ouija boards for whatever reason. Maybe it's just because people don't know how to use them correctly and safely, but I think that this message is going to come through. I'm being drawn to the goodbye on the bottom. It's like somebody who passed on is going to reach out to say goodbye. This is like somebody, if you felt like you never got to say goodbye to somebody before they transitioned, or say like the last time you spoke it wasn't pleasant, or it just wasn't what you wish it could have been. If it would have been different if you had known, right? And of course we never know. But this is like somebody perhaps who passed unexpectedly, or you didn't get out what you wanted to say to them if you knew, but I feel like they maybe passed unexpectedly. They're going to be reaching, remember, the veil is thin around this time. We have Samhain. We have the Day of the Dead. This Scorpio season energy in general, as Mars begins this retrograde, the veil is very, very thin. So our ancestors and spirits are able to communicate with us more easily. So they're communicating with somebody. If this message is resonating for you, they are going to be communicating to you. So just be open and be paying attention to the ways that they might communicate. Our past loved ones communicate with us in all different ways, right? They use signs, they use symbols, they use music, they use animals. They use our dreams sometimes. The dream thing feels relevant here. You may just feel their presence. If this message is resonating for you and you're sitting quietly at a point in time, or maybe not even quietly, but you have this sense of their energy coming in, don't question whether that's them or not. This is your confirmation that is them coming to say goodbye for now. Because remember, there is no true goodbye. We are all eternal beings. They've transitioned, but they haven't left you behind. And that's what they want you to know. They never left you behind. They never meant to, they never wanted to, they never will. They will always be with you, watching over you and guiding you. And this, whatever this interaction is with this person, with this spirit, it's going to transform your faith, I think. It's almost like I feel like somebody, perhaps as a result of losing this person, kind of lost their faith. And your faith is going to be restored through this communication. For some, I feel like this message might be resonating for multiple people. And what I'm also feeling as I'm saying this is, for some, maybe this happened a long time ago. Maybe you lost this person a long time ago. You never said what you wanted to say to them. You felt abandoned by them. And they're coming through. They're finding a way. And maybe it's taken them a really long time to be able to pierce through the veil to access your energy to the point where they're able to deliver this message in a way that you can finally hear. Or maybe you're finally ready to hear it. And it's going to show you, it's going to remind you of a time where you lost your faith. Where a part of you died. And now that part of you is being regenerated. That's really powerful. That's really powerful. And for all of us, this Mars retrograde, there's going to be a transformation of our faith. Right? Faith from Jupiter. Jupiter and Neptune, that square in the beginning. Faith, belief. But I feel like for most, it's going to be a positive transformation. All right. Any last cards before we pull a closer? Lunar eclipse change. All right. So that's that Taurus lunar eclipse during the Mars retrograde that we are going to be experiencing on November 8th, which is incidentally Election Day in the U.S., which I find very fascinating. Like I said, check out the Scorpio season video for more information on that eclipse. It is powerful. We got all kinds of planets activated in that eclipse. I believe Mercury is activated, if my memory serves. We have the nodes active. All right, so that's a lot of karmic energy, a lot of powerful shifts and changes with that. I'm actually pulling this up right now so I can get... And I'm sorry, you guys, I'm getting slightly distracted because I hear a baby crying, and I'm not sure if it's a baby next door or if it's my son, but his dad is with him, so I know he's fine. Yeah, so we have Uranus active during this eclipse, conjunct the moon, being influenced by the North Node. And then we have the Sun conjunct Mercury with Venus not too far away and being activated by the South Node. So that, and in a T-square, that infamous T-square that we've been talking about with Saturn here. So major shifts and changes. The results of this election day in the U.S., I do believe, are going to be felt for some time. And there's going to be powerful ramifications of change. But this is a powerful change that's happening within each and every one of us with this eclipse. Tell me some more here. We had Grand Trine Blessings wanting to come out with the Leo energy. And that is, of course, the solar plexus energy. Fifth house, that's Leo energy. So we got a lot of this Leo energy coming through here. But there's going to be a huge spark of creative. This is like creative change. This is like change that we get to play with, change that we get to sculpt. It's like many of us, we really step into our creative power. The ways that we create. We've been talking a lot in this video about the ways that we use our minds to create. I also feel like it's creative solutions. If there is an area in our lives where we are desiring change, a lot of times we talk about the changes these energies bring that are seemingly beyond our control. But this is like change. Remember, magician energy, emperor, change that we initiate, change that we create. And we're going to be given if we hadn't seen a way or a means or a solution for something, a creative new approach to an old situation is what I feel here. And of course that will happen when we shift our perspective. First house, the body, wanted to pop out again. A reminder of all the shifts and changes and integrations within the physical body that we're going to be experiencing to take care of our physical bodies. Right? Mars retrograde tends to be a time where our stamina is lowered, where our vitality feels a little bit lower. So we really want to be nourishing our physical vessels and remembering and understanding the way that our mental body affects our physical health. That's going to be a big focus for some people. And we're going to be sort of influenced to change the ways that we work with our physical body and the habits that we have that are not contributing to our overall vitality and wellness. We have 8th house endings and beginnings. Yeah, a lot shifting, a lot changing. Everything that's ending is making way for the new beginning. And is this not a very Scorpionic card here as well? Of course it is. It's the 8th house, which Scorpio rules. But look at that, talking about, the Day of the Dead and all those energies. That ancestral energy. Really tapping into our own cosmic ancestry and origins. And the lineage that we have on this planet, the ancestry we have on this planet. You see the Egyptian energy coming through here. Ooh, I'm feeling like activations of the strands of our DNA that are relevant to this ancient Egyptian energy. Aspects of the self that were activated and active in those lifetimes for us that perhaps have lain dormant in this one. Interesting. Got Venus on the bottom of the deck. We could keep going with this. Endings and beginnings in love. There we go. That's simple enough. And with this second house owning here, first of all, this is where finances may come into play with people. But this is also, remember, Scorpio energy can be a bit of a possessive kind of an energy sometimes. So we're really looking at situations where we feel that where love equates ownership. Remember, this is one of the distorted versions of love. Right? In order to, loving you means that you belong to me. That kind of an energy. Those types of energies may get stirred up in people. And there may be an end to any toxic cycles surrounding energy like that. Jealousy, possessiveness. Really understanding that it's like learning how to, we talk about this all the time, right? How to love somebody in a way that makes them feel free. We're seeing where we feel trapped. That's where that 4 of Pentacles energy comes in again. Where we feel trapped or obligated because of love. And also for some people, it's like the way that finances and financial things are affecting your love life or your ability to give and receive love. Energies around that. clearing out distortions around love in general. A lot of communication we have, Virgo, I analyze with the air element. And then messages, which is the third house Gemini under that. Yeah, so a lot of communication and relationship for people. Some people, I feel like this too. Remember, Venus rules the second house and Taurus energy. And I'm feeling like changes in job situations for people as well during this Mars retrograde, where you may come to realize that the job that you're doing is not the job that you want anymore, that you don't resonate with it. It does not match with your deeper desires, with your truth. It's not aligned with who you are anymore. And so some people may be leaving jobs, unexpectedly losing or gaining jobs. And just know that that is, somebody may get word of a job offer. Let's pull one card on that, the job offer. Give me, let's see, what do we want to do here? We're going to pull from the Intuit Oracle. Clear. For those people getting job offers during Mars retrograde, let's get one card on that for some guidance around that. Off the top of my head, it feels like beneficial, but I just want to... Interesting. So we have the Empress. Once again, Venusian energy coming out, but then we have Snake and Mask coming out. So this is like a two-pronged message here. For some people, it's like seeing behind the mask when it comes to people, when it comes to the ways they present themselves that are not authentic. Right? When somebody's putting on a show, trying to hide and conceal their truth, we may notice where people are doing this, or where we've been doing this conversely, right? And we were asking about the job thing, and so this energy is more saying, don't accept any offer at face value. Look deeper, because not everything may be what it seems. So really, just review the fine print. Make sure something resonates with you. Don't just jump on something because it's offered. Not everything that glitters is gold. Yeah, and then we got the double rainbow coming out with cardinal energy. Everything will come through in perfect timing, so you don't have to rush it. You will know the perfect offer when it comes. So if you're questioning, or if the timing just isn't right on something, then trust that. Then trust that something, what is meant for you, will come through in the timing that it's meant to. But for some people, clear, this just keeps coming back to romance, where there are some toxic situations and relationships that are really being weeded out here and exposed for what they are. On that happy note, let's get a closing card here. What do we want to do for a closing card? I think we're going to do a Gateway of Light Activation Oracle card, because there are definitely some, like we said, some highly activating energies with this Mars retrograde. Clear. All right. Give me one card here. What activations are we receiving during this Mars retrograde? Or integrating, right? Because this is a powerful period of integration. What activations? All right. Boom. First card out. Third eye activation. Brow chakra. Inner vision. Clear seeing. I see. I know, right? So a lot of people, your clear senses, your psychic senses really powerfully being activated during this Mars retrograde in Gemini. Inner sight, inner vision. Utilizing that, we're going to read from the book here. On the bottom of the deck, I like this too. We have Sword of Light, divine protection, cords cut, breakthrough energy. This is setting ourselves free. We are going to see and understand what we need to see and understand in order to set ourselves free, where it is that we have been trapped or held back. And like I said, many of us are going to realize that the only thing holding us back was us. The Sword of Light often linked to Archangel Michael. Third eye activation says, this card transports us through a gateway representing our spiritual connections. Seen with our inner eye is our divine right, and our soul self has never forgotten how to do it. In fact, we are often using this special talent even when we don't realize it. For example, when we imagine something before it happens. This gateway encourages you to unlock your psychic abilities and to stop questioning your divine ability to see. And that's been coming through for me over and over again lately. Trust yourself, trust yourself, trust yourself. Know that great potential and healing will be unleashed when this space is activated. If you have an intuition about something, trust what you are seeing. This is a sacred time for the psychic potential that you have had since childhood is awakening from slumber. And for some people, when we talked about something from your childhood being uprooted, that could be the thing that has part of the reason for the slumber of your psychic senses, whatever trauma or experience it was that caused you to bury that gift. You've always been a dreamer, sometimes thinking about how the future will show up or revisiting the past. Now the gifts that have been discouraged in the past are reawakening, and your inner vision is stronger than you imagine. You have an innate ability to see further than human eyes and are able to identify the energies of what is going on around you with your activated third eye. This gateway is here as a confirmation that what you are seeing and experiencing is in divine alignment, and that you are being supported as you develop this source-given gift. And this is what we're talking about, where it's like we're seeing more deeply into ourselves, but we're also seeing more deeply into others and into reality, or through reality, I guess you could say, as a whole. So trust what you're seeing. Trust what's being revealed. Clear. And trust that whatever you're seeing or whatever is being revealed right now is setting you up to be able to take more powerful action in your life. Right, Mars? On the bottom of the deck, as I was shuffling, Shambhala initiations, retreating to recharge, trusting in the process, Dharma. If you need to pull back your energy, we always say this, pull back your energy. All right, there's a lot going on for a lot of people. This is a lot of intense energies. Though everyone who watches this channel is empathic in some way, shape, or form to some degree. All right, so you're going to be feeling this more than most. For some people, I feel like, too, this Mars retrograde is going to show you when you do retreat and you pull yourself away from outside energies, it's going to show you how much outside energies were actually influencing your own thought processes. Something that was shared with me once that really I had never considered was that some of my thoughts actually were not my own. I assumed they were because I was thinking them, right? But I was actually picking them up from other people. There are other people, other people's thought forms that we can pick up. There are other energies, other entities, and their thought forms we can pick up on. Right? The collective thought forms. When we tap into those energies. That's why it's so important to know yourself, because when you know yourself, you know your energy, you know your thoughts, and you can identify what is yours and what is not. It's a constant, I wanted to say game, but maybe that's not the right word. But this is just something that we're constantly doing, right? Is this mine or is it not? What is my own? And of course, we're realizing all the time that even the things that we truly thought were ours really weren't. Right? As we shed these different layers of who we thought ourselves to be. That's a whole other topic that we've discussed already, right? But it's just noticing what belongs to you and what doesn't. Whose thought forms are you picking up on that are not your own? Some people, you're going to really understand that, and you're going to undergo or feel called to undergo a major cleansing of your mental body and your energy bodies in general. This is a great time to reach out for energy work. I do have a backlist of clients right now. So if you reach out, hopefully throughout the next few months, I should be able to really begin working my way through some of the wait list from my maternity leave. I know it's been a slow process. But if you're having an emergency situation and you would really like some assistance with that, please email me and we can set up an emergency session. There are tons of ways. Simply setting the intention to clear your energy every day and visualizing it however feels right to you. Intention is your most powerful tool. Remember that you have the capability to do this. And I'm feeling water, working with the element of water is going to be really helpful. Remember, the beginning of this Mars retrograde is during Scorpio season, which is water energy, water sign. For some people, it's like anything similar to taking a bath or a shower. Doesn't have to be that. It doesn't even necessarily need to be the element of water. But any physical act that you can take is going to be helpful to help you really feel and get into the belief that you are clearing your energy effectively and constructively. So this could be taking a piece of selenite and combing it through your field, right? This could be taking a bath, like we said. This could be working with the energy of the wind. I'm like feeling somebody up on the top of a mountain or out in the elements like that. I'm feeling the air on their face, that crisp air as it's clearing them. Whatever it is, some little physical ritual that you can do that helps you really feel clear, whether it's smudging yourself. Just really getting into the habit of doing that is going to be helpful. All right, you guys, I love you. I think that's it for today. Have a fantastic Mars retrograde season. We are going to talk multiple times throughout it. This is not going to be the last video where we're talking about these energies. So this is basically just kind of breaking us in a little bit. So we're going to continue to move through these energies all together as we do with everything. I love you guys. I appreciate you. You are incredible and amazing. And if nobody told you today, you are so loved and you are so powerful. Own that. Never, ever forget that. And if you do, I'm always here to remind you. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, drop a comment down below, and let me know. If you know someone that could benefit from this video, go ahead and share it. All the things that we always say. So much love, so much appreciation for each and every single one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.